Good morning. Good morning, Rose. How we doing? Good morning. Good morning, Central Indiana, and welcome Sunday morning. Coffee with Kevin. Rose, how you doing? How's the injury? Little injury update. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Denise. All I know is it's Sunday morning and it's like sinuses decided to open up. We'll get through it. I got to get some coffee down me, so. This is perfect. Anyway, I think it's going to be a hot one today. Didn't see any rain called out for today, but I saw rain Monday night, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week. Chances up. I'm struggling. What's up, Trapper Tim? Everybody have a great Saturday out at the fair that was left the last day before we picked up and left Friday night. Most of the vendors did. We'll discuss that a little bit. We're going to talk about the fair. I got a little list here. Talk about the fair, school starting. Of course, change the seasons. Football season coming in. Talk about fall. Talk about Christmas. And I also want to mention some of the upcoming guests, some of the shows we're going to be doing, some of the events we're going to be doing, and anything we get off topic on. Of course, there's no schedule. We do as we want. I'm struggling. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had some one-on-one interaction with the group here. Good morning, Rose. How you doing, dear? All right, let's just jump into it. Fair's gone. Last night was its last. Well, yesterday was his last day. I love the fair. I've always loved the fair. It always brings a kid out of me. It will always bring the kid out of me. It's a social event. I love going out there. I'm a people person. I like to be out involved in it. It was hot at times, and it was nice at times. There was a few nights where it wasn't good for chubby kids to be in the area, but days when it was very nice. Hang on. It wasn't horrible. It was just a couple nights where it got really humid. But that's typical. That is typical Indiana summer weather. That's typical for the fair. In years past, when I've had a booth out there, there's been the whole week where you're melting. So like and share this, please. They've done this. I don't know. When you punch up your computer in the morning and it says, "Hey, we've changed things on Facebook." the window shrinks even further, or see how you push things out. Anyway, like and share if you can, push it out. Excuse me. So weather-wise, it wasn't a bad week. There was a couple nights of rain. Yesterday seemed to be the hottest day, and of course, it's the last day when most of the kids are going to be out there during the day. Unfortunately, talked to a couple of moms that had youngsters running around yesterday, and they were like, it was brutal. Indiana summer. Other than that, the fair food is always phenomenal. Of course, taco stand is number one. I'm a pork guy. I can go eat pork sandwiches every night. The ribeyes are good. Sub sandwiches, the cheese sandwiches. It's all the food is out there good. One complaint I saw was opening up to vendors, outside vendors, and I get that, but a lot of these non-for-profit organizations that run the booths, this is their lifeline, and a lot of the folks that run those booths are from right here in the city or right here in the county, and it's helping out those individuals groups where they don't get their money. The donuts, like the donut stand, it's like their Super Bowl. So if you take that away from them, or you take a cut away from them from one vendor, and then another vendor comes in, and then another vendor comes in, it's going to hurt them. And we certainly don't want that. So I'm not, I don't want to say I'm against letting other vendors come in, but it's going to have to be very limited. Then how are you going to limit it, and who are you going to let in? And I just don't, I don't see a win-win there for the fair. You have all sorts of options on the Midway with carnival food, and then you have the fair food tents that are already set in place and established. That I don't see an issue with. That's a fight that would be hard pressed to get through. Now, if you want to build another tent and offer some other non-for-profit group that offers Chinese or whatever food that everybody must have during the fair, then so be it. But letting other vendors come in from outside and do it, I think that would be tough. I mean, I just, you want to build another brick and mortar spot and let Kevin Green come in and put barbecue in, that I'm good with that. But if you want a truck to come up from Monroe County or Brown County or Columbus that offers Mexican food or Chinese food or whatever, that would be tough. Chris, I get that. I get that, but I just, you're supporting, and all those groups in those booths are from here. That you're supporting individuals and groups from our county. So if you're going to open it up to outside vendors, would the stipulation be from our county? Does you support them? I don't know. That's going to be a tough fight. I get what people are saying. Hey, we want something different, but you got to make it. You got to make that part fair, quote unquote, across the board for all the vendors, in my opinion. What's up, Kenny? That's going to be a tough battle. I think there's a few simple things you can do, and I hit on them on my post right off the bat. Is vendors are the lifeline. Got to do something about the parking. I think it's $175 for a booth. It used to be if you stayed till 10 on Friday or 5 on Saturdays, whatever time it was, they gave you back a portion of your deposit. Hey, Kenny. What's up, John? So if you have to do that to keep vendors there, I think it was $175, raises it to $200. Hey, if you stay till 5 p.m. on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, whatever date it is, you get your $25 back. Good morning, Jamie. Chris, that is 100%. That is the you hit the nail right on the head. That is it's on the list, and it's so far down the list that if we get to that, and that's our biggest argument, we'll thumb wrestle over to see what the final outcome is. Because there's a lot to be covered, and you're exactly right. Morning, Jennifer. Hope you are feeling better, dear. It was nice to see Jamie Fuel and family out at the fair. Stop by the booth. Jennifer, hope you're feeling better, recovering. But yes, as Chris just said, food's so far down the list of things that we need to look at. It's not a big deal. Vendor parking, vendor setup, getting people in. How are you going to do that? How are you going to? You need to open the box up. You need to get outside the box and start making it more attractive to younger people. Because those are the ones you want to come back next year and the year after that. And I'm not talking kids. I'm talking younger people, 18 to 35. Moving slow, but you're moving. That's the key. That's good. Progress. You got to do something. You got to change the narrative a little bit on some things and get the younger folks out there. And I don't know where you turn. I don't know what you do. There's a success template somewhere, I guarantee it. And you got to track it down and figure out what they're doing right. There's things. I mean, let's look at this. The economy is, and we won't get into specifics because I don't want to, because I don't want my show shut down. The economy is horrible right now. We know that. We get that. Prices are up across the board. You have sicknesses running across the globe that cuts into all this. All those factors play into, and out of my post, I saw people putting that down there. And I said, I know that, but it's. I did not want to post that stuff because I run the risk of things shut down. Lenny, exactly. We're going to get into that grandstand event that's coming up. Grandstand events. All those factors weigh into people not going out to the fair. Some of the factors are that it's the same old. We don't want to go anymore and not pay X amount of dollars to do A, B, and C. I get that. But with all that on top of no animals, 4-H situation, that all weighed into it. So I'm hoping they back the date up early July, late June, somewhere in there. Hopefully not over 4th of July weekend. Hello, Christine. Back the date up. That way you can get your 4-H people together. You get your carnival. You get everybody back together. And then see where we're at. Make some changes. Make some minor changes. Nothing crazy. Woohoo! Kitty Duncan, 50 stars coming in this morning on a Sunday morning. I love it. Got stars in my whole. Hang on, guys. That. Rodeo. We'll get to things like that. Facebook is turn me up here. John, thank you. We'll get to the grandstand events in a little bit. I'm sorry, I lost my train. Move it back, get everybody together again, make some changes, figure out some new ideas to attract younger people, and give it a go again next year. See where we're at. I think getting the 4-H people back together, get everybody in under the same umbrella, same week. That's going to make a difference. But you also need to start turning the corner on attracting younger folks in the grandstand events. The rodeo was a hit. I think the demo derby's always a hit. The tractor pull's always a hit. The quads are a hit. They used to race 3/4 midgets, go-karts. There used to be horse shows. I don't know if any of this stuff went on this year. Did they do was there any hog wrestling like they did the one year? The Battle of the Barns is always a fun night. I don't think it was as big this year because everybody was gone. And this is stuff that can easily be fixed, addressed, changed, tweaked, whatever you want to say, that can make things better again. The vendor parking, calf scramble. Thank you, Jennifer. Couldn't get to that. Working towards that, couldn't get there. Thank you, dear. I think there's things you can do to tweak it to make it better, along with getting the 4-H back together under the same date. I'm going towards grandstands events, but I want to. Carnival is the reason is the issue that I'm hearing. I'm not on the board. I don't even think I know 3 people on the board, and I'm not digging to find out who's on the board. This is my opinion from my eyes, from what I hear. Rumor is that Carnival are booked. I mean, and you got to book them out in advance. And there's only so many carnivals now. So many carnivals now. Hello, PJ. And they don't want to. I mean, they're limited on people that want to work, like everywhere else. So they need 50 employees, and they're getting by with 48 and 49 employees. So I think there's only like 5 or 4 carnivals in the state right now. I think a couple had to close down because of nobody wanted to work, and they can't get people to cover. So you can't open a carnival if you don't have individuals to run your rides. There's safety issues and things like that. So a couple of them had to shut down. So we're limited. And the ones that are active, they're booked solid. So getting a date to where the carnival's there, the 4-H is there, all the other events are shaken, we could go. That's the magic. You got to find the exact date when you can pull it off. Remember, that's a whole week. Hello, Tammy. And the thing is this, you can't have poor Jacks or whoever it is, if they're leaving South Bend on Sunday night or Saturday night and be here and set up Sunday morning. That would be you want them kind of proximity in the area. So I don't know. That's going to be tough to figure out. And hopefully they can make it happen. Grandstand events. I heard the rodeo was a great. Let's buy carnival rides. Kevin will make the money. Lenny, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't even like looking at it. I don't know how I rode some of them things when I was a kid. They had one this year that went like a mile in the sky on the swings. I was like, I'm good on that. I didn't want to get underneath that. When your kids don't care, you just go do it. Bravery or the. Good morning, Tammy. Good stuff. Anyway, Glenda, we were just discussing that a little bit ago. I don't a lot of and I'll hit on it real quick. A lot of all the food court, non for profit, from this area, from the county, all those groups that run those food tents are from this area. So, are you going to bring food trucks in from outside of the county? There's a big stipulation there. Hello, Shelley. And I mean, what are we? As Chris and I were talking earlier, food is the if you had to make a list of things you wanted to change at the fair, I think food would be near the bottom. I'm not saying I'm not against bringing in something different, but just like I said, you're going to tell Kevin Green, hey, we're going to build a new building specifically for Gather Around Barbecue. You can come out there and set up during the fair week, or hey, bring your truck out there and set up during the fair week. But then Chili's wants to do it. And the Fogo wants to bring a truck from Indy. There's a Chinese place from Bloomington that wants to come up. And then you're starting to cut into the groups that support the fair in those food courts. Exactly, Lenny. And I'm not knocking it. I think you could tweak some things there. food we do well. Maybe we can work with the non-for-profits to create some new items addition. There you go. Great idea. And like we're hitting on here, if you got another group that wants to come in that's local, non-for-profit, that supports organizations in this county, and they want to go Chinese or Mexican or whatever it is, maybe build another building. Maybe build another building and say, hey, okay, here we go. Here's another food area. You can set up here every year. And I don't know what they pay or what they don't pay, whatever. But I'm not against bringing in other food, but it's got to be it's got to be done right, and it's not near the top of the list on things that need. From a vendor standpoint, the vendor parking is horrible. It always has been horrible. It's very tight. I don't know how there's not a wreck in there every year. There's an area adjacent to, on the other side of the old farm, antique farm equipment. It's not a very big area. It's a little slither of grass. Maybe 20, 30 vehicles fit in there. That would be perfect. You rope that off. You're going to have somebody man it, just like you do everywhere else, but vendor parking. And you can keep the one area up there, and then you have that area there for vendor parking. You only need about another 20 slots. As long as you maintain it and people do what they're supposed to do. Vendors only. That's your lifeline. You want to get it back to where, and here's why I know it can happen. You want to get it back to how it was in the heydays, the 80s and 90s, when you could barely walk through that tent. There were so many vendors and so many people going through there. Everybody gave away free stuff. I get that. And if we have to start giving away yardsticks again and candies, we will. But you got to get that back somehow. You got to create that atmosphere again. I don't know if you lower the price. I don't know if you raise the incentive. I don't know if you better parking, better advertising. But Rallying the Valley, a few weeks ago, now it's a one-day event. I get it. It's only a one day. And this is what I was trying to, the argument with the fall foliage and other events. Your fall foliage, if you look at the amount of hours that they're in business, and I was on the board, it's this big. It's a 4-day event. It's not 4 full days because the tents aren't open all day long, but it's this big. Fair is this big. You got to have vendors out there this entire time. Got beat. I got beat and we beat each other with them. The fair is this big, so you got to have vendors there the whole entire time. That's a big difference between Rallying the Valley, fall foliage, and everyone's like, "Oh, foliage good." I get that. Trust me, I was on the board. I understand that. But the time-wise, to get businesses to come out there for coverage from noon till 10 o'clock every day is tough. Some businesses were sending people out during their shifts. They're on the clock to work at the booths that they had. There are some booths that set up and had absolutely no coverage all week. I don't get that. I understand. Hey, they paid their money. You don't want to run off vendors, but come on. You set a booth up, put a body out there. Pay some kid $10 to sit out there. Give him free food. Get him something. Do something. So, can't compare the fall foliage, Rallying the Valley, and everything else to the fair. But I know the Rallying the Valley filled that entire pork barn, entire sheep and hog barn, whatever it's called, for that one-day event. And I mean filled. Both sides, all the way down, the entire length of the barn. There's craft and there's vendors and everything else. I don't know what the stipulation is to be a vendor in the tent, in the merchant tent. I don't know if you have to be from county. I don't know exactly what the stipulations are. But whatever it is, we need to open that up a little bit. You want to get people in that booth. You want to get merchants in that tent. You want attraction for people to come in. Adjust the parking. Open that up a little. I'll sit in the booth. There you go. Exactly. You're going to feed me a taco salad and give me 2 maple donuts every night if you sit in your booth? Hey, I'm in. I'll do it for a few hours. But I didn't mind all week. Maple donuts are the best. Sorry. We'll get back to donuts. Again, these are my opinions. I caught some hell. People were yelling at me and sending me nasty grams, but I could put on there and hey, it's I could type it's 8:45 Sunday morning and someone would argue with me. Nature of the beast. So. Anyway, you do that, you open up you loosen the ropes a little bit. You lower the stipulations, get more vendors in that merchant tent. They're out there. I talked about sharing. They said they can't. That's not allowed. Well, take a look at that a little bit, if you would. If you can fill a spot by two businesses sharing one spot, why not? Or they buy two spots and they share, mix and mingle. Why not? What's the big deal on that? I know. Hey, the object is to sell two instead of one. I get that. But if you're not going to have any and you can get one, come on. Hey, we're going to share the booth. Hypothetical. It's $200. $175 actually. $175 for a booth. Hey, we're going to share our booth with Porch Time and Brain Chills are going to share a booth. Okay, it's going to be $200. Okay, fine. That's super. We'll pay the $200. That's doable and that's fixable, and that brings more business and more people out to your fair. Let it happen. Figure it out. We're all in this big boat together for our fair. We all love it. We wouldn't be on here arguing and making 900 comments and posting about it for 3 days, 4 days, if we didn't want to see it happen and change and get better. It's nothing personal. It's not that I'm arguing with somebody. We want to see it improve. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why I posted what I posted. I love the fair. I love going out there. I love the food. I love the atmosphere. I love the social event. I miss the animals. And I'm not a 4-H person. I used to be a judge on Chopped. I didn't even go yesterday. I had so much going on here, but I miss all that stuff. That's fun stuff. Take your kids. Take them. Even though you've seen it a million times, take your kids. Take them in there when the 4-H exhibits are up. Let them see all that hard work that people put into that stuff. It's really fascinating. And it's good for the kids to see that. They might like it. They might enjoy it. They might want to do it. I couldn't draw a straight line. I could never do anything like that. You want to see me fail? Have me tell me to paint a picture or draw a picture or do something crafty. It might take me a week. It may not be pretty. I'm horrible. But that stuff, those people are talented. And we need the 4-H kids back. For sure. Mr. Larry Ralph, how you doing, sir? They need to figure that out and make that happen. One of the other things that I posted was music wise. I know they have the free stage, but you gotta have a concert at the grandstands of some sort one night. Make it happen. I don't care if you got a band playing during the tractor pulls in between drives. You got to get some music at the grandstands. It just, MC, it didn't feel right. I don't know why. It just didn't feel right. You got to get some sort of music playing out there. I don't care if it's local. I love the pre-fair concert. What Rob does, RD Productions does with that is phenomenal. I want a blue ribbon for what? For your cake back in the day, exactly. That stuff's, I remember that. Dad used to put vegetables, and Bill Owens won all sorts of awards at the 4-H. That guy could do anything. Hello, Cheryl. He was very talented painter, drawing. You got to get music out there one night. It does not have to be the pre-fair lineup or anything like that. Maybe all local. Maybe Battle of the Bands. I saw someone, I think Joel had mentioned that. Something fun. The key to the grandstands is an empty grandstands is no good. You got to put butts in the seats. And again, bigger picture. All we're doing is trying to make the fair better. All we're doing is trying to make profit for the fairgrounds. So we keep expanding, get better. And we love our fair. We want to see it improve. That is the key. got to have butts in the grandstands. You got to have events that attract people to there. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, sir. And you know what? Larry's a vendor. He's a sponsor of the show, a friend, a vendor. I know I can call him up at 2 a.m. and say, Larry, I need A, B, and C, and he's going to show up with A, B, C, D, E, F. That's the type of guy he is. And him and his lovely wife were out there every day covering their booth, start to finish. And they're just good people, folks. American Basement Solution. I haven't done sponsors yet. We can do that at the top of the show. We will do it before we close, I guarantee you. There's little things we can do. The grandstands, you need to get music out there. The horse rodeo was fantastic. Do they even race 3/4 midgets or go-karts anymore? Do they do horse shows? Do they calf scramble, as Jennifer had said earlier? There's things that were big hits in the past. Got to start thinking outside the box. An empty grandstand is no good. What's up, Jack? Hello, Connie. So, I mean, I'm not on the fair board, nor do I want to be on the fair board. But there's a lot of folks on there, and they can start outside that box event, bring in the young crowd. And like I said earlier, I'm not talking 18 and below. I'm talking 18 tractor pulls. The tractor pulls were there. Tractor pulls always draw a crowd. The demo derby always draw a crowd. Good morning, Jack. That's going to happen. The rodeo, the tractor pull, and the demo derby always draw a crowd. One night you had a rain out. You had a wrestling thing that didn't do well. Other than that, good morning, Connie. So there's things, in my opinion, there's things you can do. You can tweak things. You can make things better. You change the date. You get the 4-H kids back. You put it all back under one roof. Good morning, Teresa, and you make it happen. And you see what happens next year. But you can adjust those little fine things that we discussed. And there's other things. We don't have all the answers, believe me. And I'm sure there's lots of better ideas on tweaking. Get those under control. Take care of those. And then see where you're at. And I think that our fair will survive and move on. And it'll be great as it was. Because as long as you're serving maple donuts, tacos, I'm there. Saying, I'm going. Hello, Betty. I don't care how hot it is. I don't care how cold it is. I'm going there. Those maple donuts are just, they're phenomenal. Phenomenal. How long have we been on? We've been on the longest topic. That's the longest morning topic on Coffee with Kevin at 33 minutes ever, I think. Now that Teresa's on, I want to thank Logan and Teresa. They were, Teresa Messmer for Family Real Estate was in my booth, off and on. Share booth, she hung out with us. Had some good ideas. Her and Logan from Hair Diva, they had some good ideas for attract business for themselves and for us. Logan was out there having a ball. We actually had 2 other businesses hanging out. Logan, they're both part of Porch Time. Teresa's a sponsor. Logan's a sponsor. Barry's a sponsor. So they all fell under the Porch Time umbrella, and we had some fun. You still have the draw. Yeah, she's going to draw for the winners of our little $100 our Planet Fitness 1 year, $100 value at Logan's, and then a senior day. Hello, Frida. And I think she did have somebody sign up for that. It would be awesome. At Susan's place. Senior retreat. All right. We'll hit and miss on the fair as we forward here. Senior retreat all day. I always mess up. School starts, I think, the 11th. Is that what I saw for Martinsville? I think Mooresville's already went back. It's unbelievable. I'm old school. It should be Memorial Day to Labor Day. I don't care what you say. I don't care where the numbers fall in or we're falling behind. Do better between those periods of times. He said, no, thank you for being there. Thank you. And Logan. Labor Day to Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's your window. Do better. Here me now. Do better. Monrovia starts Wednesday. I think family time is more important than school time, and family time between Memorial Day and Labor Day is important. I'm old school. I think that's the window. That window. Memorial Day, Labor Day. Family time. School time. Do better. I'm going to go on the school page and post that. Going to be another hot one today. Possible storms this afternoon. I saw that. I wasn't for sure on the storms. I knew it was going to be a hot one. So, Memorial Day to Labor Day. I know they've got all year and 2 weeks here and a month there and all this and that. I'm old school. I like the Memorial Day to Labor Day gap. But here's what a few of us were talking one time, off camera, off air, just hanging out. Hello, Natalie. Back in our day, you got an argument in school, depending on when it was in school. You had the weekend, you disappeared. A lot of times the argument was over with. A lot of times the argument was over with the next day. You got an argument late in the school year, April or May, and you're fighting and complaining. I agree, Connie. You had some bad stuff going on in May. As soon as school's out in May, back in the day, majority of the kids that you went to school with, you didn't see again until fair time or school time the next Labor Day. So all that animosity and anger and all that, and you grew up. You aged. You got a little smarter. You got a little wiser, hopefully. Everybody did. Not everything was buried away, but majority of the little nitpicky stuff that fight and argue about was gone. Nowadays, they're never apart. Never. They're never disconnected. Never. And mentally, emotionally, I don't think I wouldn't have been prepared for that. They're in contact with friends and enemies from the minute, and I hate saying the word enemies, but it's part of life. The minute they wake up to the minute they go to sleep. 24/7, 365. There is no disconnect. There is no wind down. There is no take a step back and let it digest. Let your intelligence kick in and say, what am I doing? It just snowballs. There is no disconnect. So would Memorial Day to Labor Day even work anymore? Because they're constantly connected. One thing that I missed as a dad and as a parent and as a graduate of Martinsville High School, when my kids were 8th graders and went into freshman year, that's when they decided to buck the system and go elsewhere. Logan did go, but Shelby and Devin did not. They were petrified of the high school. And it did not register to me because I did not have that. There's no disconnect from the parents either. Thank you, Jennifer. From the families in entirety. 100%. We all need that disconnect. I missed this because my daughters were petrified of the high school. And as time has gone on, I've heard other kids, not just our high school, any 8th grader moving into this situation. And I thought back, I was like, what? petrified of the high school, but I had football. From the time my 8th grade year was over, we began practicing and doing things in June and July. I knew every inch of that high school before August even rolled around. So when it was time to go to school, I was like, I already know. I know where all my class. I've walked the entire building. And that was an advantage to me. Get in there. So, just an idea. From what I remember when my girls were in 8th grade, it was rushed. It was hectic, chaotic, and it didn't help the situation. Not all kids going to feel that way. My daughters were petrified for their own reasons. There were others that were worse, and there were many that were better. But not all kids are going to feel that way. I mean, try to step into the mind of a teenage girl. That's not easy. And with twins, it was double the fun. So maybe there is something they can do to lessen that or ease that or give it a little more time or invite them. I remember in 8th grade at East, we went to the high school a couple times and had walked the building. And I don't know if they do that anymore. Maybe they need to. Maybe they need to do that over the summer. Maybe they allow that and we missed it. Maybe it wasn't advertised properly. But I think there's things you can do to slow that down, get that anxiety. Not everybody played football. Not everybody played summer events where they're in the school 24/7 like we were back in the day. Exactly, Teresa, 100%, 100%. They don't do that. It's not the way it is anymore. Lynn and I were discussing this last week. There should be 3 months in between school years, like summer vacations. Exactly. Spot on, Larry. 100%. And we've gotten away from that, and we're falling behind. We're falling behind. That's the excuse they have to keep us in school longer. So we're really going to catch up by adding another 30 days to school? We're that far behind. 30 days are going to make that big a difference? I can't see that. Because either they know, they're either grasping what you know, or they don't. If 30 days is going to make it that big, 30 days is going to bring you from 5th to 1st in math across the board. Well, Jennifer's works in education. Very good friend, a very good friend of the show. I've known her for decades. I'm sorry, years. I don't want to say decades. That makes it sound old. Not that we're old. Who decides 180 days? Why is it 180 days? Memorial Day to Labor Day. I don't care. I don't even want to know how many days are between here and there. Ah, ding. There's the key word. Lawmakers. We won't get into that debate. But that's a biggie. People who don't work. %, Jennifer. 100%. You know what? I will tell you a story about me. And this is, and I'm not going to mention names, but when you join the military, you take a thing called the ASVAB, and it breaks down every category they box you into, compartmentalize every question and answer, and it puts you in something. I hated math. It's not that I wasn't good at math. I hated math. I'm not blaming those that taught me math early in life, but I looked back on this as I got older, and I had issue with every educator that was in my math or teaching me math, instructing me math, and never got along with. Exactly, Frida. I never saw eye to eye. I never got along. I never connected with the individuals that were teaching math at the level that I was getting into. So I shied away from it. I didn't take calculus. I didn't take geometry. I knew it was going to be a struggle because at some point in time between my 5th grade year, 8th grade year, freshman year, I fell back because I didn't grasp it. It didn't connect. I didn't like it. So I take my ASVAB. I graduate high school, 03s or whatever it is. I was already in the Army. I get to Germany, and they evaluate. They used to evaluate. I don't know how they do anymore. They used to evaluate all the time. And I had somebody said, hey, and I didn't score low, but I was high 90s on a lot of things, but I was like 80 something on my math portion of it. I said, hey, if you bring that math portion up, you could do A, B, and C. And I was like, well, I like working in communication. I really don't want to. They're like, yeah, but it'll look good on your thing. I said, okay. They give a course twice a month on Saturday mornings for 2 hours. Go there. So they signed me up. And it's not basic math. It wasn't geometry or algebra, but it's somewhere in between. So I show up there and there's like 200 soldiers. Very loud room. One teacher's aide. Lovely lady. I took that course within 2 weeks. She came to me and she said, why are you in here? I said, because I scored whatever on my ASVAB. And she said, you've aced everything. Passed every exam. You've passed every test. And she said, what's the difference between this and 2 years ago? And I said, because the way you convey it to me, it registers. And she said, I want you to be a tutor for this class from here on out. And so the next 4 weeks that were left, I was a tutor helping her in that class. And I retook that portion of my ASVAB and I raised it up to like 95. So it wasn't that I was dumb or didn't get it. It was how it was conveyed to me. Now, maybe I was mentally in a better position there, more mature to handle what was being thrown at me. I'm not blaming the teachers, and I'm not solely blaming myself. There's a little of both. But a lot of times it comes down to how the teacher connects with the child. Jennifer will back that up. Finding that sweet spot in every kid is almost impossible. So I guess the moral of the story is if you got one that's having a struggle somewhere, it's not always a kid being lazy. It's not always a kid being dumb. There's more to it. I couldn't be a teacher for no amount of money. I love to see things go back to but what I was wanting to get at, in a 4-week period, she taught me more about math than, I don't know how many years you really individually go from 8th grade, from freshman, so 4 years, two courses a year, 8 full courses of math. She taught me more about math and how to, and I do equations and all that at work now, how to handle situations, needed situations in dealing with math. In 8 weeks, she taught me more than any other educator down my line ever taught me. And it registered. So I think the window of getting kids all year and hours and we got to do this and that, it's how you teach it and how they accept it and how it's delivered. It's a magic zone. You know that. Every kid is different. I'd love to see things go back 3 months for summer break. One of the best years I ever run. Yeah, Memorial Day to Labor Day. It'll never happen now. There's too much money to be made or asked for or given by, like Jennifer said, by individuals that don't even teach in education. All right. How long have we been on? We've been on schools and fair almost an hour. Wowzer. Hopefully the weather be cooling off. On 100%, Lenny. Hello, Bill. Hello, Hannah. Hopefully the weather will be cooling off. We'll be rolling into fall here soon enough. We got a few warm months still ahead of us, though. Football season started. Red and blue game was Friday night. We will be doing the home games again up in the press box. Looking forward to that. Woohoo! Thank you, Teresa. Jennifer, God bless you, dear. Hope you're feeling better. You have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday. Got a lot of fall events coming up. We got the chili cook-off coming up. You know, we got the tree event coming up. There's Craig Morgan tickets on sale for the Monroe County event. You've got the Bicentennial event coming up September 17th. Is a stage dedication. Lots of stuff coming up towards the city. We've got our Jingle Bell Rock stuff coming up. Real quick, while I'm talking business here, I'd like to thank my sponsors right off the bat. You are live from JTH Construction Studio. Larry and Teresa's group, they're phenomenal. Larry was out there all weekend. Teresa was too. Larry Ralph, American Basement Solutions, 1-877-409-2837. Contact them for all. They're good. These are great people. Every one of my sponsors are great people. That's why we love having them as sponsors. Contact Larry for all your foundation needs. Fathom Real Estate, Tracy Messmer. Contact here for all your real estate needs, 765-341-8911. Bland & Boys Lawn Care, 765-315-9656. Get your yard. Get your lard. That could have went bad. Get your yard looking good. Findhelp.org. That is Judge Williams' group. Get on there. It's not about just money. It's domestic issues, housing issues, food issues. Get on that site and look around. I preach this, and I'll still get somebody to message me and say, hey, where can I get some help? Wayman's Furniture, Appliance, and Mattress. They were out there all week. Love Mark and his family. His mom and dad hung out at the fair pretty much all week. 765-342-4339. Wellsprings, Bob Goodrum's group, 765-346-6661. They handle a lot of the homeless situation. If you have stuff you want to drop off, Teresa, woohoo. I don't know if I said thank you or not for the stars, but God bless you. If you have clothing and things like that, if you want to drop off, that's one of the places along with the Red Barn. You can take it. Stids Comfort Air Systems, 765-346-0195. Be cool in here this morning. Gotta love that. Who's Your Web Nerd? 317-640-4398. And of course, Logan's Cosmos Hair Divas, 765-318-3388. She had a blast out at the fair. She loved it. She loved it. And she's already, I mean, if she could, she works during the day at Hair Diva. But she's like, if I could afford to hit all these places, I probably would. So, covered bridges and Mooresville Pioneer Park. I think the parade happens today. So if you want to continue the fair atmosphere, head up to Mooresville. They got Old Settlers Days or whatever's going on up there. I believe so, Lenny. It's back downtown. I don't think it's going to be exactly the way it was in the past, but because of the construction, they're working towards that. What else I got? Oh, some upcoming shows. Woodridge Music Academy is going to be in studio. I love that group. They just strike a chord. Their music group. I love that group. I love the folks involved with them. Can't wait to have them in here. I don't know if we're going to talk to Rob about getting them in on a Monday music hour or what, but they're phenomenal. Arrogant Homecoming. They're going to be coming in here real soon. Arrogant Homecoming's coming up. Got to talk to them. I got 3 or 4 others, and I'm brain dead this morning. I had them missing some notes. I hadn't been in here in a while to actually do a show, so it's a lot going on. Busy time, but Was a fun week out at the fair. I want to thank Teresa and Logan for helping out there and hanging out with us. Corey, Mama Baker, they were there at the start of the week. They are currently down there toughing it out along the Gulf Coast. I mean, somebody has to do it. So, took the Jeep and headed south. Much needed break for CB and his family. Hello, Randa. Thank you so much. Woohoo! Oh, yes, Teresa, I am so sorry. 8:18, Angie and Teresa will be in here to start their new real estate show, but it's not going to just be real estate. If you know Angie Turley, it's not just going to be real estate. Believe me. Those two gals are going to light it up and have a lot of fun. A lot of real estate questions, a lot of real estate answers. One works as a real estate agent, one is a mortgage broker. So, good morning, Randa. That'll be a fun show. I will sit here and shut up and just run the board, and those two gals will take off with it. Figure out a name, and we'll morph into whatever as we move forward. But that'll be fun. So, looking forward to that. I don't know, lots of stuff coming up. Lots of things we're working on in here that are just, oh boy, so close and so far. You get one step forward and one step back. Randa is part of Wells, one of the sponsors of the show that I mentioned just a little bit ago. They do a lot of work for the homeless situation here in town. If you got goods and things you want to drop off that you no longer want, talk to one of those fine folks and probably take them off your hands. Anyway, Rita, thank you. It was good to be back on here. Fair season takes away out of the building here. Monday Music's been off. Rob goes on vacation. We've not been home base here for a while. I was looking forward to this morning to getting in here and chit-chatting and hanging out. This is what I love doing. If I could do this 24/7, I would. I like the interaction. Thanks, Joyce. Love the interaction. I miss doing this. And one of these days, mark my word, maybe I'll be able to do this every morning in some capacity with recap of weather and sports and update. And that's the goal. That's the long-term goal. Guys, I love you. Thank you all for everybody that stopped by the booth. Teresa's going to draw the names later today, and we will be in contact with the winners. Today's Sunday. It's going to be a hot one. Maybe some storms later. Get out there, enjoy it, have fun with your families. God bless each and every one of you. And we will, I don't know if there's Money Music Hour tomorrow night or not. Maybe. I don't know. I just work here. Love you guys. We will see you soon.